Okay, so I wanted to do a quick video because some of the components that we have been getting recently look a little bit different due to COVID and the chip shortage and all of that stuff. On the micro integrated chip side of things, we have to be able to improvise sometimes, or at least go over some slight changes. So first, I wanted to touch on the ESC. We are buying our electronic speed controller from a company called Z's. They are all going to be in the 55 amp range, and we are using them for our Cobra racing drone, as well as our Hawk and our Longbow, because 55 amps is more than enough for everything that we are shipping out. So if you have ordered a Hawk or a Longbow, your ESC will look something like this. And then if you have ordered one of our Cobra racing drones, then it is going to look like this. Both of them will come with a little packet of some extra wires and standoffs and that sort of thing. You will not use all of it, but the main thing you are going to be looking for is this wire right here. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see right here. It tells you what is each one of those pins does. And the reason I'm pointing it out is because VBAT and ground are on the right side of this connector. VBAT is red, the red wire basically. That is your battery or your power. So it's going to go in like that. The other way you always want to look, if I can get this to focus, is where your pins are. That kind of gets it right there, but you want to look at the holes on your connector. They're going to cooperate, maybe, maybe not. But it basically, come on, camera. There it goes. Is going to plug in just like that. Okay. So that would be your Cobra, and then this would be Longbow or Hawk. All right, electronic speed controller. Okay, so the other thing next is we have our flight controller. Again, same company, Z's, same flight controller we've been using. This is the V3. There's a V2 out in circulation. But we've been staying with the same company so that the information is the same. So you will see in some cases there will be a VTX pre-soldered in place. It depends on if you have requested FPV with your setup. The Cobra would have a VTX here. The Hawk and Longbow sometimes may or may not, because they don't always ship with VTX or FPV. If you guys ever want to get into black box or anything like that, this is a SD card slot right here, so that you can add a small SD card for memory and black box recording and that sort of thing. So this is your flight controller. This is going to be the camera cable, again, if you have FPV with your system. So we will take our ESC, and again, you're looking at the holes on your connector, and it is going to go to the connector here. Just like that. Because what will happen is this will wind up sitting on top just like this. Notice the arrow on the flight controller pointing that way. So that's how you know, okay, that's how it's going to stack, just like that. So this is flight controller, electronic speed controller. Okay, so now what we have is we have gotten a distribution board. This is the new addition to our stack. And as you can see, it's basically just, it's got your GPS connector here that's going to go off to the GPS puck that we will add. Actually, I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, so GPS here. This connector on this side is where this is going to go. And then as you can see, each of the other four are listed as LED. So we will plug this guy in here like this. Again, always checking to make sure holes are lined up. The fastest way to disable your drone is to bend a pin. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in again. And this is now your stack. And like I said, the only thing different here is this is for a Cobra. This would be for a Longbow or a Hawk. These two will be the same. So you have your ESC, your electronic speed controller, your flight controller, your distribution board. Okay, we're going to get our GPS puck and pull that out. Notice it also has an arrow that'll be facing forward just like the arrow on your flight controller. Then again, you can look on the back and see that they tell you what each pin does. 5 volts is at the top, so we can go ahead and bet that that red wire right there is going to be at the top. Still, we check to make sure holes on the connector and in there line up, and that's how that will connect. I'm going to zoom back out. So here we are. We have electronic speed controller. Yes, just like that. Flight controller, distribution board, GPS. And that's pretty much everything that you're going to have. The GPS packaging will have some wires and heat shrink in it. That will be left over. The last thing you're going to have is some LED kit. This is more for the Cobra, the racing drone, but we have added them in some for the Hawk and the Longbow. Because they are addressable and you can assign functions or information to be displayed through them. I'm just going to go ahead and hook these up as well, just so that you can see the entire stack assembled. As usual, check where pins go so that you don't ruin anything. There's one. 2, 3, 4. Then same thing. Check your pins. Okay, so that's pretty much how everything hooks up. Like I said, this is the actual setup for a Cobra. If this was going to be a Hawk, The only thing different we would do would be disconnect this right here and add it right here. Then that would go there, that would go there. This would stay the same. These would go out to your motors like that. That's why they're super long, is because the frame is bigger. This would be hanging out the back there. We're also looking at getting some longer LED wires so that you can spread them out more. But that's basically what the stack is looking like now. If you have any questions, please email us or comment below. And as always, subscribe for new information as we release it.